So should you sell your advertising on a flat rate or should you sell by the impression? So one of the most common questions we get at Broad Street is, how should I sell my advertising? And usually this question is coming from a print publisher who's just getting into digital, or maybe it's coming from someone who's just about to launch a new online news business. It's a great question, and you're going to hear different answers from different people. At Broad Street, we strongly suggest that you sell on a flat monthly rate, and this kind of diverges from the advice you're going to hear in the larger ad tech industry. When you are a smaller publisher, chances are you're working with smaller advertisers. They're not very sophisticated when it comes to advertising. So it's better for them and more digestible to say, okay, I know I'm going to spend $250 a month to run on this publisher site. Knowing what they're buying ahead of time and not having to learn anything new is very helpful. If you find yourself explaining what a CPM is to a smaller advertiser, they're going to get confused and it might ruin your chances of getting the sale. So a flat monthly rate is understandable for the advertiser, but importantly, it's also predictable for you. If you have revenue goals, and let's just say your first year revenue goal is to get to $5,000 a month, you might know that you need to sell 10 $500 a month sponsorships in order to get to that $5,000 a month goal. It's predictable for you, and it creates these little revenue building blocks that you can use to get to where you want to be. When you're just starting out, you don't have a ton of traffic. Even over the next 5 years, you may not hit a point where you have a lot of traffic, because many small magazines or news publishers, if they're geographically focused or they're focused on a certain niche or industry, they are by definition niche. You are never going to have the millions of impressions that a larger national publisher will have. So it's unfair for you to have to sell by the impression when you have a very defined and targeted audience. When you're just starting out, you're really selling on value. What you don't have in traffic, sell in a big placement or an in-story placement, something that your advertiser can't get anywhere else, and they're getting a lot of value from you. When it comes to CPM, sometimes you don't have much of a choice. If you're dealing with bigger or more sophisticated advertisers, they are going to want to buy on a CPM basis, because at the end of the campaign, they're going to break down their spend across everywhere that they've spent money, and they're going to line up what the price was, what the results were, and they're going to try and optimize that. So they will insist on buying on a CPM basis. If you have a lot of programmatic running, you're probably going to get into a place where the programmatic is delivering at a certain CPM, because that's how programmatic works, or you are going to have direct sold advertisers who are running with you too, and you're going to want to optimize which campaign delivers at any given time. So if programmatic is going to deliver at a $2 CPM, but you have a direct sold campaign delivering at a $3 CPM, you're going to want to deliver that direct sold campaign, right? And vice versa. So if you're in a position where you're running programmatic, which is not really the case for a lot of smaller publishers, you may want to start selling on a CPM basis because you can better optimize your yield. Keep in mind that selling on a CPM basis may put you in unfair competition. So an advertiser may say, we can buy with you at a $5 CPM, or we can go to Google Ad Exchange or some other provider and buy across them at a $2 CPM. Why would I work with you? So it creates a situation where the advertiser thinks everything is apples to apples, and it's not an apples to apples situation. You have a very defined audience. You are going to deliver them more value. You write better quality content, and on an exchange, you have no idea where that campaign is going to run. It is unfair for you to have to compete on a CPM basis. Now, keep in mind that you can mix and match. You don't have to stick entirely to flat rate. I would say keep running with that. And if you run into an advertiser who insists on CPM, you can work them in and run them in either a dedicated slot or have them rotate with your normal flat rate advertising. So when it comes to flat versus CPM, at Broad Street, especially for local or niche publishers, we are very much in favor of flat pricing.